We memorize the Ten Commandments in Sunday school usually, and oftentimes we memorize them again, or we're supposed to memorize them again in confirmation. And if any of you, like me, attended a Lutheran college, you probably had to memorize them again, and then we promptly ignore them, as though knowing them is enough. It's sort of like writing the check to the health club. I mean, writing the check ought to do some good, right? You don't actually have to go there, for heaven's sakes. See, knowing God's commandments and doing God's commandments are two different things. And there are benefits to doing them. And there are consequences for not doing them. To the extent that we keep His commandments, great things will happen. Say, for example, that we keep Numbers 1 through 3. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not take the name of my Lord, the Lord your God, in vain. And remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. The benefits are amazing. Your faith will grow. Your relationship with God will grow. You will become a person of amazing strength just by keeping His name first on your lips. Just by worshiping Him every chance you get. And likewise, commandments 4 through 10, those are the ones we tend to remember best because it has to do with getting along with each other. Honor authority, don't murder, live a sexually pure life, don't steal, don't lie about each other, and don't covet stuff, and don't covet people. Again, the benefits are amazing. You'll be more content. You'll be a happier person. You will have zero relational problems. And will generally be loved by everyone. Not keeping the commandments has just the opposite effect. I'm often amazed at people who don't understand why they feel so distant from God, but have not bothered to worship Him in ages. Have not received His body and blood in the Holy Sacrament in eons. I'm also amazed at people who live debaucherous, selfish, self-centered lifestyles and can't understand why nobody likes them. Why nobody trusts them. Why everybody ignores them. Breaking the commandments has consequences. And the consequences aren't because God's mad at you for breaking His commandments and He wants to get back at you. The consequences are simply the natural order of things. That's why God warned you, because He created the system. And guess what? He knows how the system works. If you go to the zoo and you stick your hand in the snake pit and you get bitten, are you going to blame the zoo? Well, you know, some people probably would. There are so many people today who absolutely refuse to take any responsibility for their own actions. In fact, to tell you the truth, they'd probably sue the zoo and win. But God is neither that stupid nor that malleable. He insists, absolutely insists, that we accept consequences for our actions. That's why Jesus got so angry in the gospel for today. He walked into the temple, and there are people taking advantage of other people by charging huge fees for sacrificial animals and by charging huge fees to exchange money that you had to exchange in order to give money at the temple. They were stealing from people, blatantly breaking at least several of the commandments right in front of God and everybody, and acted like they had every right to do just that. Now, they all knew the book of Exodus. God was not suggesting in the book of Exodus that they treat one another with love and respect. He was not suggesting that they honor Him and honor His name and honor His worship. He was commanding it. That's why Jesus made a whip and drove them out of the temple courts, whipping them and overturning their tables. He was emphasizing the point that this was a commandment, not a suggestion. The commandments are there for our good. But never think that God is complacent about whether or not we follow them. If I bought you a brand new Maserati and saw you parking it on the street, leaving it out in the snow, letting the salt build up all over it, never bothering to change the oil, well, I'd be pretty furious. Why would you treat an amazing car like that? And life is such a far greater gift than a car. God gives us life. But beyond that, He gives us the owner's manual, the commandments, so that we can live a rich and fulfilling life. Follow them to the best of your ability, and you will see things improve all around you. You will see blessings rain down upon you. Break them and suffer the consequences. And Christ honestly does not want us to suffer any consequences. Now, please understand that we're saved either way. By Jesus' death on the cross and damnation to hell, every single sin has been paid off. The commandments have absolutely nothing to do with your salvation. But, having given you life, and having given His life and soul for you, so that you could not only have life on this earth, but eternally with Him, Christ wants your life to be joyful and productive until He returns for us. They're not 10 suggestions. They're 10 commandments. But not in the sense of you're going to get zapped if you don't do this. They're commandments in the same way that gravity is a law. Gravity just happens, right? It's not like objects are required to fall to earth out of some kind of moral compunction. Objects fall to earth just because, well, that's the way God created the earth. Likewise, keeping the 10 Commandments results in outcomes that are good. Breaking the 10 Commandments results in outcomes that are bad. Just because that's the way God created the earth. So, rejoice in your salvation. Be thankful for your life. And keep the commandments to the very best of your ability, because in so doing, you glorify the Lord and multiply your own joy.